Greetings, salutations, and all good things in between. What's up, everyone? Matt here. Happy Friday. Hope things are going well for you. The start of February is kicking off to a good start, getting a lot of stuff done, making a lot of progress, all the good stuff. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate you being here. Today is going to be a real short one. I'm going to get right to the point. Today I'm going to continue with the original ChatGPT app that I made. It's not ChatGPT, but right, it's the ability to have an ongoing conversation inside of an AppSheet app with the OpenAI AI over there, right? Okay, so today I'm gonna show you how you can add in starters to the system that you already have. That'll make it easier for you to dynamically change the introduction bit that you have. That's kind of like the instructions part of the prompt engineering factor. That's what I'm gonna dive in today. I'm gonna get right to it today. If you have questions about anything and you're working on after I get done with this little thing, there will be a live Q&A section at the end, so get your questions in there. All right, everybody, thanks for being here. Let's get to it. All right, so thanks for joining. Thanks for showing up. What are we doing? So if you head on over to my profile, my AppSheet profile, you will find a sample app over there called OpenAI Convo #1. Make a copy of that. That is the app that I am going to continue from. That will be the starting point, if you will. If I go over here and I drop a link to my profile here inside the chat so that you can head on over there. My profile's got a lot of apps on it, so it usually takes forever to load, as you can see here. So here you go. So it's this OpenAI Convo #1. You're going to want to go to this and make a copy of this so that you can start at the exact same point where I am. I am dropping a link to this app inside of the chat so that you can just get directly to it, hit the copy button, happy days. Okay, with all that preamble in place, what is it that I'm doing? Okay, so if you'll remember, this sample app is the ability for you to throw a message over at the endpoint at OpenAI, right? Like a prompt, and it will give you a response. And then there's messages and threads. So threads is the parent level to the messages, and threads gives you the ability to consolidate all of the messages that have happened before to create a thread history, which you can then pass to the AI as part of the prompt that you're sending to the whole thing. So you have like an instruction bit, you have a thread history bit, and then you have the current message that they need to respond to, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy this app, and then we're going to add to this the ability to dynamically change the instruction bit that we added to the front of the prompt. And if I go here, if I go back here, so this is the copy of the app that I have made. If you are playing along, hopefully you're along at this point as well. You can ignore the welcome page for now. I'm gonna have to massively modify that so that it works for part 2. But so what do I want to do? So if I go and if we just kind of go and we look at, right, thread history. So the thread history, right, is just the messages reformatting, substituted out so that I take the space, comma, space, which is the standard separator used by the system, and I replace it with a line break, this little horizontal thing, and another line break. All right, so all of this gives me the ability to throw in, this is what has come before, right? And it's before that I throw in some kind of instructions to the system about, we're doing something and I need you to respond in a specific way. So if we go and we look at how we set that up currently, you go to automation, and you go to get response, and go to get response task, and you come down here and you go to the prompt, right? Okay, so right now the instructions that I'm adding to this is incredibly simple. There's no instructions to this at all. I'm just saying respond like a helpful chatbot. That's it. Which, you know, gets the AI along the lines of, oh, I need to be helpful and I need to be a chatbot. Okay, fair enough. I know how to do this. All right. But it doesn't get it aligned with respond like a doctor, right? If, for instance, one of my clients that I'm working with is a telehealth medicine company, so it's a whole bunch of doctors, and they wanted something that they could try and play with and see what would happen. Part of the prompt engineering there was changing the instruction bit at the front so that it didn't do something simple like this. I had like a whole giant paragraph where I'm saying, respond like a medical professional working in a hospital environment, speaking to doctors in a highly technical manner, and then like a whole bunch of specific words for the specific, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so all of that stuff at the very front of that is the instruction bit that I'm talking about. Now, I'm calling those starters, right? Or you could call them instructions, whatever you wanted to call them. I'm going to stick with starters. So the idea is I want to be able to change, I want to be able to dynamically change this front little thing that's added onto my prompt as I'm working on the system, like as I'm making my prompt. Do you know what I mean? So how can I do that? It's actually relatively simple. Okay, so first off, we need a place to store all of the starters that we want to use, right? So we need another table. Then we need to add into the prompt the ability to select, well, what starter do you want to use, right? Then over in our over in the automation, right, where we have this little starter bit like this, we need to add into this, we need to change this from being hard-coded to this string that I have here to dynamically pull whatever value I have inside the starter that I've selected. And with that, those are all of the steps, very high level, 1, 2, 3 of what you need to do. But once you get that in place, you'll be able to easily adapt that front bit, which will help you with your prompt engineering. Because now you don't have to go into the editor, go into the expression assistant, you don't have to come here, you don't have to mess with all of this. It's literally just a text field inside of another table somewhere, and you just go to that table, modify the text inside the thing, and call it good. All right, so that's what we're gonna do right now to get started, right? Hopefully you have the copy made. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the data source for the app and add a new table. So easiest place, data, and right here on tables, you just go to view source, because that'll open directly to the thing that you want it to be. All right, now I've got threads, I've got messages. Let's add in another one. I'm going to call it starters. All right, so what do we need to include for our columns here, right? So we need, let's see, probably some sort of title, because it's helpful to have like a, small little phrase to identify the thing that I'm doing. I need the actual text, right? And then I need an ID, because everything needs an ID inside of the system. Another thing that might be helpful would be a creation date, so that I could have something to order these by if I wanted to. But like, that's entirely up to you. And really, to be honest, that's all we really need. So I'm just gonna kind of clean up my little table here a little bit. Little things I like to do. I like to shrink my table, make the ID yellow. It's easy to find, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I've got my table done, ready to go. Literally, this is all I need, right? This is just to help me identify it visually inside the app so that I could give it a nice, easy title, right? And then this is the actual thing that I want to use. Done. All right. If we come back here and refresh our app, we can get the new table that we just added into the mix. Hello, Willow Mobile Systems. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining in. All right, so we've got starters. So let's add starters. Oh yeah. Okay, and everything should be basically along the same, that's not the right table. Should be basically already done for us. We just, okay, so like one thing we need to update is the starter text needs to be a long text. Fair enough. We can make the label here the title, not the starter ID. We can hide the ID to make sure that it's got, yep, unique ID. So creation date is a date. It's got the today in it, but we can hide that. We don't need to show that. It's kind of a metadata thing. Okay, so we've got the title and the text. Now, both of those are required because you need to have a title, you need to have the text. Okay, now that that's in place, we need a place to like view these things and add them, right? So let's make a view for these so that we can get that done. Call it starters. Oops, wrong button. Okay, got my starters. Just make it a deck, sure. You can sort by the creation date, descending, put the new one at the top. There is no image. It's the title. It's the text. It's the nothing. It's the nothing. It's the no buttons. All right. So if we come over here, let's save. Save. Let everything propagate really fast. Okay. Now, I got my view for starters. And, you know, real quick, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to give this a, like, start button. Yeah. Why not? Okay, so, right, I got a title, I got a text. So I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the first basic one, which is the thing I already have. So I'm going to go to my automation, and I'm going to go to my response task, and I'm going to go to where my prompt, right? And I'm going to grab this little bit that I have right here, because that's the one that I want to start with. So I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to say basic chatbot. Respond like a helpful chatbot, right? Just like that. Okay, now that I got this here, right? Now I need to make a way where I can easily get that into the prompt that I'm sending to the AI, right? So what do? Okay, first I need a way where I can select the prompt that the starter that I want to use, right? Now I could do that either in the thread or I could do that in the message. I'm going to do it in the message because this is where the person's typing in the thing that they're doing. So I'm going to put it right underneath the prompt. So I'm going to add a new column to the messages table. And I'm going to call this messages starter link. Okay. Wait for it to save. Okay, go back to my app. Regenerate my messages table. Grab that new column. And then this needs to be a reference, or at least an enum base type reference. But I'm going to make it a hard reference to the starters table, right? Save that so it propagates through the system, okay? So now that we've got this reference here, right? All right, well, I want this, I don't want to have to select this every time. So a very common thing that I'll do whenever I have something like this is just have the field default to whatever the last thing was. And there's a very easy way to do this. Let me show you. So if I come here and I copy the name of this column, right? Now what I want to do is I go to its initial value formula, come in here, and what I'm going to do is I want, yep, there we go. Zoom in a bit for you. There you go. What I want is an index formula where I'm going to say the name of the table and then the name of this column, right? Now I'll change the ASDF to the name of the table here in a minute. And then, so I'll just do it now. Ooh. I'm having problems with my little Zoom thing. There we go. So I'm saying go to messages table and list for me all of the starters, right? Okay. Now from this, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come down here, and for the second part of the index, I need a number. So I just wrap that whole thing that I already had in count. And booyah. There we go. That is going to get me the last value inside the messages starter link column in the table. So whatever the last thing was, it'll do that again. There we go. Give this a nice name of starter. Okay, so I've got prompt, starter, response. We come back over here. I'm going to make this starter required. I'm surprised I don't have the prompt as required. That's funny. Okay. Save everything so it propagates. We should be able to rock this now so that when I go into my thread, like if I start a new thread and I go to messages, yeah, so I have starter. So I can select this and I can say, this is just a test. All right. So now, okay, that worked. It didn't give me a response because I have to update the script with my own script. I'll go over that in a moment. But now, if I start another message, like if I come in here and just say I want a whole new thread, yeah, see, it automatically defaults to what I did before. Okay, so that's done. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is I need to integrate the thing that I'm selecting into my automation prompt that I'm sending to OpenAI. Okay, so like right now it's hard coded. So if I go to my automation, I go to my get response, go to my task, I come down here to the prompt part, right? Like this is the part that I'm talking about, this. So like right now, that is hard coded. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to delete this. Give myself some space to work. So here at the very front, the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to add in a new bit where I'm going to say, I'm going to add in like a little curly bracket, and then in full caps, I'm going to add in this thing that says instructions with a space. I'll close it. And then the intention is after this, I'm going to put that starter text. Okay. So I need to come down here to my list of columns and grab the name of this starter link column, whatever you called it. I'm going to do a dereference here. So dot, and then if I go to starter table, I need the text column. If I come back here, put that there, just like that. Okay. So we got instructions with a space and then whatever you typed into that thing. Okay, and then I need to open text again, and then we'll have like a line break, and then I want this interaction history. And I'm going to put that inside curly brackets so that it's similar in nature to the instructions type of thing. You see what I'm doing here? I'm trying to create like a similar structure to things inside the prompt that I'm doing. You understand what I mean? Like this is a label of this is the thing that I'm doing here, and here's another label for what I'm doing here. And like if you do that enough, the system picks up on that, and it really helps drive the thing in the direction you want to go. Okay, so I've got interaction history, and then this is this, yep, all of this. Okay, and then I've got down here, blah, 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 messages reformatting. Okay. Yep. Okay, so this should be nice. Now that I've got this dynamic starter text here in the front, I've got a green light down here. Okay, so if I do that, okay, do this, let's save everything. All right, now if I want to test this, the thing I need to do is I need to go, let's see if it'll just work without me having to change the script. What I do need to do is I need to go to my welcome page and I need to drop an API key right there. Okay, so if I go to OpenAI, and I think I still have space to generate I think I keep like one open. Yeah, I keep one open space so I can make a new key while I'm doing the live stream here. So whatever, if you want to use it while I'm doing it, have at it. But I'm gonna sunset this thing as soon as the live stream is over. So there we go. Now that's in there. Okay. Let me make note of this API key that I'm using just so that I don't lose it. Okay. Now I'm back here. All right. Let's try and see if this will work by itself. So if I come here to this thread that I didn't add anything, what is AppSheet good for in the office? Let's see if this will give me a response. Okay. All right. Yeah. Maybe. All right. Yeah. This is a good sign. This is always a good sign. Just, when it's taking forever like that, it means it's probably working. Yep. AppSheet is a cloud-based blah, 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 blah. There's my response. Yay. Okay. So the basics are in place now. So now what I want to do is I want to play around with it a little bit, right? So I now have the ability where I can create a different starter for whatever it is that I want to work on, right? So like, let's come over here and let's create a pirate responder. Respond in the manner of a pirate. That's very helpful. Sure. That's very helpful. In a pirate, that's very helpful. Okay. Okay, so let's come back to this thread that I was doing here. And we've got this context, right, of AppSheet. Okay, so now I'm going to continue on, but I'm going to change this to the pirate responder. And I'm going to say, how can I use it to help me keep track of my timesheets? Okay, notice I'm not mentioning AppSheet at all. Because this is, I'm testing two things. Continued context, make sure that that works, and is it going to respond like a pirate? Ah, look at it. Oh my God, that's so much fun. Zoom in for you. Ye can easily use AppSheet to help your keep track or your... Okay, there you go. So there's the basics of how you can create a nice way to dynamically modify the instruction bit that you're sending as part of your prompt when you're doing your prompt engineering. The real benefit of all of this is that it gives you the ability to to create a copy of the current instructions that you have and modify them in a little way. You know what I mean? And then you can try A/B testing. Because when you start working with these AI models and everything, you eventually quickly learn that the hard part is not setting up the integration. It's not getting the script. It's not like none of the technical fiddly bits are the hard things. The hard thing is prompt engineering. The hard thing is getting the AI to go the direction that you want it to go. And so making a system like this where you can dynamically change the little starting bit that you're injecting into it really goes a long way to smoothing out that sort of prototyping. I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. Another thing that you might do, I've found in some instances, it's also helpful to have like a footer instruction. So like I have a starter instruction where I say blah, 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 blah at the top. And then like all of the thread history, and then the actual thing that I want them to respond to. And then after that, another little instruction bit. The best example of that I can give you is the app that I made for playing D&D with the AI that I did over Christmas. That one, in order for me to get that thing to stay in character, because you got to remember, it was set up the same way as this, so that I was feeding it the thread history, which the thread was the encounter, and so I was feeding it all of the previous turns that were happening, which had all of the dialogue and everything involved with it and all of that. And so what I found over time was that if that got long enough, the system would get confused as to like what character it was supposed to be, because it has everybody's character in this list. So in order to get it to stay on point, what I found that I needed to do was I had all these instructions up at the top, like respond like a player that's playing a D&D game. You are playing this character, blah, 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 right? And then like, this is the encounter. This is what's at the start of your turn, right? And then I needed a little bit at the very bottom where I said, remember, you're playing this character and respond in this way, and don't do this and don't do that, and use Markdown and use HTML, like some other little like fiddly bits, you know what I mean? So anyways, long story short, if you're struggling to get this system to kind of fall in line with what you want it to do, maybe it's helpful to add another table into the mix that is a footer table. I don't even know what you would call that. You know what I mean? But like, you have an ending bit. Maybe you could throw that in. All right, let's do. That's it for. That's all I got for this. I told you this is going to be a relatively short thing. If we head on over to. Well, that was the thing that I just did. It was a deep dive. That was supposed to be the chat one, but you know, all right. Well, actually, you know, if let's see, I just set up. I tried to see if I could get where's it at? The chat. Hey, there we go. But I notice it's weird. If I bring this over here, does it clean up? No. Yep. Of course, things change, don't they always? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get your live stream actual questions and things into the chat itself, but like, yo, why is it so weird? Yeah. Anyways, I'll go back to this one. Hey, I see Willow Mobile Systems is here, and he is asking, did you catch Sail On Over to AppSheet? What are you talking about, bro? Give me a link. Sail On Over to AppSheet. What is that? Is that some kind of Sail On Over to AppSheet? Is this a show? Is this a thing? You still here, or did you leave? I did a Google search for that, but I didn't. Is it this video that you're talking about? Curious to what you mean, mate. There is a lot of really good stuff that people are working on. I've seen a lot of. I have a. What is it called? A Google Alerts, or whatever they call that, you know what I mean? Where like whenever something on the internet pops up with a keyword that you want to watch, I've got that set for AppSheet. Mostly all I get is spam. Like there's an unbelievable amount. Like as soon as Google purchased AppSheet in 2020, like that turned into every day there's 3 or 4 spammy things. Like, oh, don't click on it type of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was pretty funny. But like, there's been some good stuff that's been coming down. I see what you're talking about. In the chat, Jared mentioned the sail on over to the AppSheet. That was a part of the pirate response. No, I didn't even like really give that pirate response a good look over. AppSheet's mobile app building platform allows Yi to easily create an app for tracking and managing people's time records. Yi can create custom forms, entering and keeping track of data such as hours worked, tasks completed, and more. Sail on over to AppSheet's website to learn more about how Yi can put the power of mobile apps to use for your office. Bro, that last sentence is on point. That's fun. Yeah. Good catch, John. That's a lot of fun right there. Oh, man. All right. Well, that is all I've got for today. Keeping it short, keeping it simple. If you've got, hold on, I've got a thing for this. Hey, there we go. Yeah, we come on over here for the ending. So that's it. That's all I've got. That should be an easy way for you to update your app. This is part 2 of the evolution series for that OpenAI conversation app that I'm building. I have plans to continue developing this. I have some really fun stuff planned in the future, but I'm curious to hear what sort of things you would like to see for this to go for this to go in the future. Let me know in the comments below. All right, everyone, that's all I got for this week. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And remember, when you're working on your AppSheet app and you hit a roadblock, say it with me. Keep calm and AppSheet!